Hey guys, a very good morning. Welcome to the first ever audiobook club. It is, of course, World Book Day, so I hope you're all reading your books and enjoying yourselves. Today on the first ever audiobook club, we will be reviewing Resistance Reborn. It's by Rebecca Roanhorse, and it's number 42 in the Star Wars book line. That's where it falls. It's book number 42. Narrated by Mark Thompson. Fantastic narrator, and on Audible it currently has a 4-star rating with 91 reviews. The total length of the book is coming in at 11 hours and 29 minutes, so it is it's an average length Star Wars book, but it is one on the longer side of average. Now, first things first, we're going to get the overall score out of the way. And this book gets a 3 out of 10. And that 3 mostly comes from the audio production. Now, if you've listened to any of the Star Wars novels, no matter which narrator it is, the team that makes the audio books does a fantastic job. The audio design, the quality of the audio is amazing. They make it sound like a dramatization. But it's only one narrator, and with all the sound effects and all of the design, it all goes together to make a very, very slick production. But that's the same with any of the Star Wars audiobooks that you choose. If you've listened to all the other Star Wars audiobooks, you can expect the same level of quality in this one. But that's where the good ends, unfortunately. Now, this book did suffer from where it was in the universe. So this book came out after after episode 7, after episode 8, and before episode 9. So it came out before Rise of Skywalker, and it was, when it was announced, sort of billed as required reading before you went into Rise of the Skywalker. That just was not true. And not only was it not true, because Rise of the Skywalker went through so many changes before its release, this book makes no sense. It fits in, but the main points just contradict what happened in the movie in the end. By the way, if you haven't read this book and you want to read this book, please go away and do that. I am going into spoilers. But if you're just here to find out what the book's about, then I'll give you a brief breakdown of what happens, but there are going to be spoilers. So anyway, the main problem with this is it's the story of where are the rebellion. So if you remember, at the end of episode 8, the Resistance is down to just Princess Leia, Poe Dameron, and Rey, and a couple others, and they're escaping the Salt Planet. And the rebellion hadn't answered their call. Now, this book tried to set up why the rebellion hadn't answered their call, and this is where the biggest flaw of the book comes in. It turns the rebellion into a MacGuffin. The whole book, most of the book, is about tracking down a list of rebellion members that have been captured by the First Order. So the whole book is this MacGuffin hunt for this list. And then the author decided that the best way to do a MacGuffin hunt was in one long Canto Bight scene. And I'm not joking. They infiltrate this casino ship. By the way, it's been a long time since I listened to this book, so I am going to miss stuff and I am going to mess stuff up. I did return this book because it was that bad, and I could not bring myself to listen to it again for this review. But egregious things that happen. So it is basically Canto Bight, but in a whole book. Now, if you liked Canto Bight, you're going to love this book. If you didn't, you're going to hate this book. And there's just some things that just really stand out to you. To get into the bidding for this list of missing resistance people, they have to present, I think it's the queen or someone of this planet, with a gift, and they're infiltrating into the queen's wherever it is, and they give her a gift, and it turns out to be exactly the right gift for her, and it's a really unusual gift that they give her. And then later on, they're like, "Oh, how did you know?" And it was just, "Oh yeah, it was chance. I just chose this random gift, but it was just chance. Oh, good, lucky us." Why the author made that decision, I have no idea. Why make your plan that worked out perfectly to be random chance? I don't know. The main character, not the main character, but the character that receives the gift, even sets up, "Oh, how did you know that I was interested in this?" And then it turns out to be chance. And that's just one example of really poor writing in this. Now there's a subplot where they send Wex and Snap, Snap off to find Wedge Antilles, and bring Wedge and Nora back, because Wedge and Nora Antilles are in retirement. So they decide that members of the squad of Poe Dameron's squadron are going to go and find them and bring them back into the Resistance. So the second subplot that runs all throughout the book, interspersed with the Canto Bight scene, is they go and find Wedge. They convince him and Nora to give up. They turn up when there's battles happening. They manage to get in through the battle, and they save Wedge. They bring Wedge back. This is the main spoiler, by the way. They bring Wedge back to the Resistance. Now, just think to yourself, was Wedge Antilles in the Rise of Skywalker? No. So they can't have him there. So he gets there, and after this entire book's worth of secondary plot, he decides not to join and goes back to live on the same planet with Nora again. So the whole plot is they send Snap to find Wedge. They go through an escape plan past the First Order. They get to the Resistance, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is great. It's so great to be back, but I'm going home. See you later." What? It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you even put it in there if you knew you couldn't have it? Why not kill off Wedge Antilles? Why not do something else that would have had some emotional impact to the greater world? Because the writer wasn't allowed to. Now, I don't think all of the problems with this book are the writer's fault. They must have had very strict constraints about what they were doing, and it's their imagination has filled these bookends of plot that they've been given. Now, to do that, unfortunately, the bookend here changed, and they filled up a load of this Canto Bight storyline with stuff that is now as good as no longer canon, because basically the First Order had been going around capturing rebellion sympathizers, capturing members of the rebellion, and that's why they were all gone and no one answered the call for Leia. But of course, at the end of Rise of the Skywalker, Lando turns up with all of the rebellion. So this whole book is about them finding the missing rebellion, and it turns out they're being captured, and it's being done by the First Order. Obviously, that's not the case, but so that's the main problem for it fitting into the greater world of the Star Wars books, and that's where the main problem is in this. Apart from the fact that it's Canto Bight on a novel length scale, but so would I buy it? I did, and I returned it. I think, you could probably get away with doing the same. Listen to it and return it. It's not great. It has lots of plot holes. It has some serious issues. As I say, the audio itself is fantastic. Cannot recommend it at all. But it is worth listening to if you liked Canto Bight. If you didn't, then it's Poe's internal monologue is so annoying. So Poe is wrestling with his actions during at the end that led about to the Holdo maneuver. And 5, maybe 6 times through the book, Poe feels guilty about how he was behaving, and he learns to be a better man, and follow orders throughout this book. And his internal monologue is just, he's a whiny little bitch. He is moaning about how he misbehaved and how he made the wrong call and how he should have listened to Holdo. Holdo was an idiot. Holdo had a really rubbish plan. Holdo could not communicate, and Holdo was really bad at delegating. She also caused everything that happened at the end of that movie, and Poe feels bad about it. Now, Poe's character, he should not be feeling bad about that. He shouldn't be regretful. He should be like, well, if she told me what she was doing, we would have had a better plan. We could have worked together, but she's a really bad manager and wouldn't let us work with her, so it's entirely her fault. Now, whether you agree with that or not, Poe's internal monologue in this book is still whiny and boring, and he says the same thing 5 or 6 times where he's so sorry and he's learned his lesson. He hasn't learned his lesson at all, as we see. It's basically that start of Rise of the Skywalker when he's reconciling with Rey and he knows he's done wrong. It's that, but on a whole book. So anyway, guys, that's my review for Resistance Reborn. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Let me know if you disagree with me about anything in the book. But please remember, I know I missed a lot of stuff. I know I've probably got a few things wrong. It was a long time ago that I listened to it. Moving forward, next month I will be reviewing either Book 1 of the Fear Saga or Ready Player One. If you want to put your votes below for which book you'd like me to review, then by next week I'll choose which book I'm going to review, and I will let you know. I think it's called Fear the Skies, Book 1 of the Fear Saga, and Ready Player. They're 2 of my favourites. So I started off Audiobook Club with one of my least favourite books. Next month I'll be doing one of my top rated books. It's one of those 2. I couldn't choose which one, so you guys choose which one. Following month, in April, in May, I will be reviewing a ballad of songbirds and snakes. Basically, Hunger Games, the prequel. I was a bit skeptical learning that it's the Hunger Games sequel about President Snow. And reading the blurb, I can get a feeling of where they're going with this. I don't like the sound of it, but that's not my... Anyway, next month I'll give you some more info on what I think's going to happen in Hunger Games, the prequel. But yeah, so anyway, guys, have a very, very happy National Book Day. Carry on reading, and I will, of course, see you every weekend on Sundays. I release a video about what I'm doing on the homestead here. Until next time, guys, keep reading.